Good morning, and it's that time again. That time when I ask you guys to pull up a bucket and indulge me, because I'm going to massage your egos somewhat. And while I'm massaging your egos, I'm also going to ask you to like, sub, and hit the bell and all the rest of it. Look over onto Twitter for me and come into my Discord. And you know the reasons for that. The reasons for that is that YouTube are making it increasingly difficult for small YouTubers like me to get noticed. That being said though, this is a celebratory video, and the reason I'm celebrating is twofold. Firstly, last week I clicked over to 2 million lifetime views on my channel. So that's... well, I'm quite amazed at that. And the other one is that this week I clicked over to 4,000 subscribers. And the only people I can thank for that are you guys. You're the guys watching my videos. You're the guys subscribing to my channel. So thanks guys, really appreciate it. When I started this channel something like 3 years ago, I basically did it for my own sanity. I was a stay-at-home dad. Some of you guys already know that. And I was looking after my boy, taking him to school in the morning, doing the usual stuff around the house. And while I love my son and I love looking after him and all the rest of it, sometimes you need something for yourself. And in order to keep your sanity, you need to have a project or a hobby or something. And so I thought, well, I'll give YouTube a go. And I looked into various things, what I was going to cover, whether I was going to talk about politics, religion, social issues, whether I was going to talk about books, film, games. These are all areas that I'm interested in. Games seem to be the obvious one, though. I play a fair few games, although less now, ironically, since doing the YouTube channel. It's a much harder thing to play games when you're spending an inordinate amount of time actually putting videos together. And they are very time consuming. They take a lot of work. Even something simple like this will take a couple of hours work just to get it knocked into shape. So I started it, didn't know what I was doing. Honestly had no clue what I was doing. The sound on my early videos was diabolical. And it's improved a lot since then, although I don't know if you can hear it in this video. I'm having some issues with the sound again. I'm hoping to sort that out in the next few days when I get around to looking into it. But anyway, let's get on with it. I've clicked over to 2 million lifetime views. I've clicked over to 4,000 subs, and I couldn't be happier about that. And this is in spite almost of YouTube itself. And, you know, you guys coming in and making the effort to watch my videos and to come into the comments and talk to me. And some of you have come over to Twitter and over to my Discord as well. And I've also made some friends through this. Grant, who had the channel Over the Edge, is someone I speak to most days. And I consider him a friend now. Sully and Count from Gamecast, I talk to those guys fairly regularly, on a weekly basis at least, and sometimes I sit in with them, sometimes they sit in with me, and I would consider them friends as well. Corrupt Clay is a guy who started around about the same time as me. He's moved more into doing streaming now than YouTube videos, although he's still putting out YouTube videos. His main focus is streaming. And he's helped me out an awful lot throughout this. And, you know, without these guys, this would have been a far more, well, boring enterprise, a lot less interesting. Because sometimes when you're doing videos and you're sat in a room on your own, it can get boring. Honestly, it can. If you're thinking of starting a YouTube channel, then you need to consider that. And I had someone the other day say on my Discord, you know, do you ever suffer from YouTube burnout? And yeah, absolutely I do. You get to the point sometimes where sometimes you have too many ideas and you can't get them out, and so it gets frustrating. Other times you end up with a block and you can't think of what you want to put out or what you want to talk about. And other times you're just too tired. You guys may not know this, but I have a blood condition that leaves me exhausted some of the time. And I have regular trips to the hospital as well, and they have to take blood. And so sometimes YouTube just has to go on the back burner. and I have to concentrate on my health and my family and all the rest of it, life. Because YouTube is nice and all, but it's not my main focus. It is something I enjoy doing, but if it was a choice between my family and my YouTube channel, well, there is no contest. I think, if you're going to start a YouTube channel, and I know I'm kind of going off topic a little bit here, but there must be people here who are listening to this who are thinking of starting their own channels or have their own channels. Then my main thing to say to anybody who's thinking of doing this would be keep it in perspective. YouTube isn't the be all and end all, and don't start a YouTube channel thinking you're going to make money, because the chances of you ever making any money out of YouTube are minuscule. That's the reality of it. There are thousands of videos uploaded every day, and even as you start to grow your channel, which is what I've been doing, being up to 4,000 subs is something I wasn't expecting. But even with that number of subs, the way YouTube works now, some of my videos get thousands of views, some of my videos get less than 100 views. And it doesn't make sense to me, because if you've got 4,000 subs, you would at least think that some of those people would want to watch your videos. But the reality is they're not getting flagged up to a lot of people. And that's just the way it is. So if you're going to do YouTube, start YouTube as something that is fun. And you do to, get something off your chest, to talk about something you're interested in, that kind of thing. That's why I started it. And all the rest of it was a kind of bonus. Meeting the people I've met has been, well, it wasn't something I was expecting. And it's really made doing this worthwhile. So if you can think about doing it from that perspective, then YouTube is definitely worth doing. But that's all I can say, really. There's nothing else really I want to say on this one. This basically wanted to say thanks to the guys who've supported me through this. We've had a lot of fun together. We've recorded a fair few videos together. Especially with the Gamecast guys, I sometimes sit in with them. They sometimes sit in with me. As I say, Grant, often if I'm doing a Chip Chat episode, Grant's usually in on that. So thanks to you, Grant. Cheers. And there are other people as well, people who aren't YouTubers, who have been supportive pretty much from the beginning. Jason specifically, I always mention Jason when I do these, because Jason's been with me pretty much from the beginning. He was involved when I was doing the Average Gamer podcast with Sully, who's now doing Gamecast, and Grant. We started this thing together as a way of collaborating and having those chats and not being in a room on your own talking to yourself, because that's what it is. And when you start out as a small YouTuber, sometimes you literally are talking to yourself. You might get 10 views on a video. That's the reality of it. When you start out, you might put a video up and almost no one watches it other than your family and your friends. And so it can be a bit soul destroying at the beginning. And this is why so many people drop by the wayside when they start a YouTube channel. They start a YouTube channel and their expectations are way beyond the reality of it. When you start a YouTube channel, this idea, it's just like when I was younger, when I was a teenager, I started martial arts and I progressed for a while. I went up to about purple belt, 5th Q. I had to stop for a year because I tore my ligaments, and then I never really got back into it, and it was a struggle and all the rest of it. But anyway, that's another story. But the thing I wanted to focus on with that story is when I was a purple belt, my sensei used to get me to teach some of the newcomers, because that was a way of me learning. It's a way of consolidating your own learning. And so I would go and teach the basic stuff to some of the people who started. And the noticeable thing there was that you would get people coming in who would think they were Bruce Lee. They would come in, they would think they were going to do 2 lessons, and they were going to go around going, what, and all that kind of stuff. And we had one guy come in and he did about 10 minutes and then went and sat over by the wall. And my sensei wasn't best pleased. He was a bit of a stickler for doing things the right way, and he believed in the tradition of it all. And so this guy coming in and messing around for 10 minutes and then going sitting by the wall didn't go down very well at all. But this illustrates the attitude that you need to have. Having an attitude that you're going to come into YouTube, you're going to create a channel, it's going to blow up and you're going to make lots of money, it's just fantasy. You know, that's going to happen to maybe 1 in a million people. And usually those people are going to have some sort of talent or some sort of shtick that they can use that is unique and different. So YouTube really has to be something that you consider as a hobby, something you consider as an extra that you do, and something that you do for fun. And if you treat it like that, then you're going to have a blast. And don't get too wrapped up in it. I've talked to Sully about this, how you can get sucked into YouTube, where you do more and more and more and more. And again, it reminds me of when I used to do martial arts, where if you don't do a training session, you feel guilty, and that's what YouTube can get like. You don't do a video one day, or you don't do a video for a couple of days, and you feel guilty. And we've all heard about YouTube burnout, and I mentioned that before, but it's a real thing. And even, you know, the big YouTubers, sometimes they take a few days off. And I remember a couple of years ago now, I think it was, Angry Joe. He took off a period during the summer, and people were getting up in arms with him. And it's like, this guy doesn't owe you anything. You know, he puts out these videos, you watch his videos. You don't have to watch his videos, but by the same token, he doesn't have to make them either. So from an audience point of view, from a viewer's point of view, you have to understand that when you're making videos, sometimes you do burn out, and sometimes you do get to a point where, as I said before, you either have too much material and you just don't know where to go first, and other times you have complete blocks, and other times you're just tired. And it's like anything, you have good days and bad days. You know, you when you go into work, some days you have a cracking day at work, some days you get nothing done. And that's just because some days you're more tired than others. And, you know, YouTube's no different. So anyway, look, I've gone on a bit of a ramble on this one, but this is kind of what this video was meant to be. It was meant to be a kind of rambling talk about what I feel about YouTube, where I've gone with YouTube, how, you know, I'm happy about the fact that I've reached 2 million lifetime views and 40,000, that would be nice, 4,000 subs. Maybe you keep, you know, putting it out to your friends, telling everyone about my channel. Maybe I can get up to 40,000 subs. Who knows? It might happen. It might not. But yeah, it was just an extended thank you, really. So yeah, cheers, guys. Cheers to Grant, Sully, Count, Corrupt Clay, Jason. Oh, and Serb as well. I haven't mentioned Serb. Serb's usually in my Discord channel, and he's usually a source of fun. He's the meme king. He always comes up with some meme whenever something's happening. So yeah, thanks to those guys. And there's others as well. If I haven't mentioned you, sorry. I'll hopefully mention you in the next one. In the meantime, that's pretty much me done. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate the views, and I really appreciate the subs. And if you can keep doing that, anyone who's new to this, give us a sub, give us a like. You know, give us a dislike, I don't mind. But most of all, most important of all, come and have a chat in the comments, because that's the bit I enjoy. You know, I get people saying sometimes, oh, you know, I had one guy say, oh, a YouTuber who replies. And it does get harder as your channel gets bigger. It does get harder to reply. But I do, at this stage, I'm still trying to reply to every comment. And I don't reply to every comment, primarily because of the way comments are set up on YouTube. And unfortunately, sometimes you literally don't see a comment. And I will, once or twice a week, I will actually sit down and scrub through the comment section and see if I can find comments that I've missed. But sometimes they just do get missed, unfortunately. And I've had situations where I've come back and I've commented on something 2 months later, because that's the first time I've seen it. If I see your comment and I can respond to it, if I've got something to say in response to what you've asked or what you've said, then I will. And I will always endeavour to do that up until such a time as I get to 40,000 subs and it's literally not possible anymore. At which point I'll maybe, if I ever do get that big, at that point I will probably just chop and choose and take the comments that I find most interesting and respond to those. But for now, I will always try and comment if I can. I will always try and reply if I can. And if you want to chat to me and you can't get an answer from me on YouTube, it may just be that I've missed you, so I apologise for that. But come and have a word with me on Twitter or come into Discord. I'm always there. I'm always ready to chat. More than anything else, as you probably realise from listening to this, because I've gone on for 16 minutes now, I like to talk. And I like to listen too, because listening is how you learn things. And having an argument with someone, as far as I'm concerned, having an argument with someone is always worthwhile. Even if you vehemently disagree with them, you will always learn something. Sometimes you'll learn that you were wrong and you can change your opinion. And sometimes you learn that, well, people talk a lot of nonsense, because sometimes people do. But anyway, as I say, come and have a chat with me, whether it be on YouTube, Discord, Twitter, wherever. And, I'll welcome you, because I do like to hear what people have to say. And, yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. I know I've gone on a bit. As I say, completely rambling video, this one. But thanks. 2 million lifetime views. 4,000 subs. Here's to 5,000. Let's get it to there next. Maybe we can try and do that before E3. Anyway, I'm gone. I've gone on way too long, and I'll speak to you in the next one. Bye.